Alright, this is a little tutorial about how to use iOS devices with Ableton. I've got Moog Model D app, iOS app on my phone here, and it sounds great and it's free as well at the moment, so you can go and get it from the App Store. I've got my phone connected to my computer just with a lightning cable, and I've also got Ableton set up ready here. Let's look at how we get Ableton to send MIDI to the phone and then the phone to send audio back into Ableton. We have to do a little bit of a setup in audio MIDI settings. So if you do Command Spacebar to get Spotlight, and we go to audio MIDI setup, there's two windows. We've got audio devices and the MIDI studio. So we're going to focus on audio devices, and if you scroll down through the different devices there, you should see your phone at the bottom. And if I click enable, there we go, it gives us a little beep, and what it means is that the iPhone will now appear as a MIDI device, and it will also appear as an audio device as well. Let's set that up. So now we'll flip over to Ableton and we'll go to Live Preferences. And first up, let's set up the audio preferences. So we're in the audio tab. The audio input device we want to set as the iPhone. So if we click on the list and you look down there, you should see your iPhone in there. Great. So iPhone is the audio input device. I'm using multi-output device just because I'm doing a screen recording, but you may well just be using built-in output or your audio interface. Next thing, we go to Link MIDI tab, and what you should see is that in the MIDI ports you've got an input, a MIDI input from your iPhone and a MIDI output to your iPhone. Turn the tracking and synchronization on for both of those. If you were going to do any automation on using this as a remote control for anything, you could turn that on. I'm not, so I've just left that off. That's all we have to do there. So let's do the final little setup. I've got a MIDI track here. We need to set up the routing so that this MIDI track plays the iPhone. And also we want to be able to hear the audio back. The audio is going to go back down the wire. We're going to use the external instrument for this. So drag and drop, double click, however you want. And the settings here, we're going to choose MIDI to is going to be iPhone. So the MIDI is going to go to the iPhone, and then the audio from is audio input 1 and 2. Great, so I've set up MIDI to iPhone, audio from inputs 1 and 2. It comes in as stereo. You can do it as mono if you want, but if the iOS device is outputting stereo, we might as well choose stereo. And if we play the keyboard, I'm using the QWERTY keyboard here just because I've got that clicked. I can play. You can see there's quite a lot of latency. Unfortunately, that's being compounded by the fact that I'm using this multi-output device. It creates a lot of latency. You shouldn't get as much, but you may find it a little bit laggy. Yours should be much better though. I've created a little MIDI clip here, and we can just have a listen to that. And you can hear we've got the click on as well, and we can hear it's quite behind its latencycy. We can adjust the latency though. So let's go back to external instrument panel, and you've probably seen hardware latency in there. You can make an adjustment. you could record in some audio and then look at how far behind the iPhone audio is and actually measure it in milliseconds and type in an actual setting there. Or, to be honest, I just move it around a bit and have a listen in real time, a bit like you would be beat matching if you're DJing, and get it in sync. Let's just try that. Still a bit laggy. Try 30 milliseconds. Better, maybe 35. It's better. Great. How do we actually record it then? So we've set up our MIDI track. Next up, if we want to actually record the audio, where you need an audio track. So go to Create, Insert Audio Track, or Command T. Let's rename it. Command R for rename, and let's call it Mini Moog. As always, when you get an audio track, you want to set what the inputs are. So external input 1 and 2, so we're recording in stereo, and record enable with the button there. And what I'm going to do is just loop this up so the phrase repeats for a little bit. Because what I like to do is, even though we have a fairly short musical phrase, it's only 4 bars long, it's really nice to record a real-time audio pass where we do a bit of parameter manipulation. So let's do that. Let's press stop so we're right back at the beginning. I'm going to turn off the click because it's a bit annoying. They're very small controls, but I'm going to try and twiddle the cutoff frequency and the filter. Let's capture that. So great. So recorded a little pass there. Noticed it was clipping a little bit, so perhaps we need to turn the volume down either in the app itself, or you can always affect the gain coming in. It's probably best to do it actually in the app itself, I think, in this respect. Anyway, let's just put that to one side. If I mute the MIDI track, and so we're just listening to the audio that we've recorded. Great, so there's our part, and if we wanted to listen to it with a click, we can hear it's quite far out. That again, there's a latency it's problem because I'm doing a screen recording. It just really doesn't match up very well. But because it's Ableton, it's very easy to sort that out. I tend to just find where it loops round. It's here, I think. Let's right click and set 111 here. Oh, that one there. Cool, it's bang on now. And if we zoom in, we can see it's lining up pretty closely. Great. So we've recorded in audio, we've set it all up using Audio MIDI setup, and we're using our iPhone as a real-time audio and MIDI device. It's brilliant. You can use this great bit of hardware that's in your pocket as an external synth and have a lot of fun messing around with it. The Moog apps are great. There's the Mini Moog, there's one called Animoog, there's Filtertron. They all sound really nice. And I'll put some more links of other free or cheap apps that can be great little creative ideas. Sometimes just getting away from a computer and making music with something else can lead to new ideas. So definitely worth a try. Cheers.